and Honorable Chief Guest, Mr. Balasubramanian, his dear wife, parents of my students, special invitees, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome all of you on behalf of my lovely and lovable children and the dynamic staff of Green Shamrocks. The chief guest, Mr. Balasubramanian, is the embodiment of positive energy. I felt this when I talked to him over the phone and mentioned it to him when I went to invite him personally. His answer was astounding, to say the least. He said, "You felt that way, madam, because I have shaken hands with 3 strong and dynamic personalities. Their positivity must have come to me slightly." He then named the 3 personalities: Mrs. Indira Gandhi, Mr. K.R. Narayan, and last but not the least, Mr. Abdul Kalam. I was dumbfounded. People whom we have seen and heard on TV and newspapers were so familiar to this unassuming gentleman. Mrs. Indira Gandhi, the charismatic, charming, and beautiful Prime Minister, took just 5 minutes to exceed their team's request in Delhi. His admiration for her, as he put it, a strong personality and an able decision maker. Mr. K.R. Narayan, who was President of India, had tea with Mr. Balasubramanian in his house. What a noble and warm gesture. The third personality he shook hands with was our dearest President, Mr. Abdul Kalam. In fact, he received, I think 2 awards, sir? 2 awards. He received 2 awards from the late President. This will be explained to you in detail when we read you the biodata. This year, the United Nations has declared October 15th, the birthday of Mr. Abdul Kalam, as World Students' Day. Is there any wonder, then, that our chief guest comes across as a vibrant, dynamic personality with strong, positive vibrations? When he mentioned all this, it was with humility and simplicity. Hats off to you, sir. We are lucky and honored to have you in our midst this evening. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to bring to your awareness the exact meaning of a proverb that has been misunderstood and misinterpreted by many. Knowledge is power. It is a profound statement, but an incomplete one in today's world. During the reign of King Bhoja, Kalidasa was a poet, renowned, respected, and admired in his court. One day, there was a slight altercation between the king and the poet as to who was more powerful and respected, the king or the scholar. That is, King Bhoja or Kalidasa. The whole court watched. Gently, Kalidasa answered, "Your Honor, with due respects and apologies to you, it is always the scholar who is more respected and hence more powerful than the king or anybody else." The king was furious. He asked Kalidasa to explain. Kalidasa said, "Your Honor, a king is known and respected only in his own kingdom, whereas a scholar is respected and welcomed wherever he goes." The king was satisfied. He applauded him and showered him with gifts and gold. That was fine for King Bhoja and Kalidasa. Today, mere knowledge is not power. Knowledge applied is power. Knowledge is information. Understanding is comprehension. And wisdom is putting them into action. It is only when knowledge is used and applied, transformation takes place. This then is education. Ladies and gentlemen, please pay serious attention to what I am about to tell you. It concerns the entire student community, which includes your children and you, in fact, all of us. Students nowadays study only for the examination marks. Parents scold them, punish them if they score low marks. What is happening is the children study just for the sake of marks. Then by heart, most of the times without really understanding. They come and write the exams, and once it is over, they do not remember or recollect what they have written or studied. Children should be enlightened and made to understand that studies are for them to gain knowledge, to be able to use it when needed. Learning languages is to protect them from unscrupulous people who may ask them to sign on documents or papers. Many poor and illiterate people have been cheated, and it continues. Bonded labor is one such example. A poor man borrows rupees 100 or rupees 1,000 and is asked to put his thumb impression on a paper. Since he cannot read and write, his thumb impression seals his fate. He works free to pay back the loan. It never ends. His son, grandson, and generations thereafter are doomed. Our government has tried to abolish it, but it still continues in remote villages. Lack of education has promoted this torture and misery. Coming to today's educational scene, it is slightly different. The students can read and write, but they do not know how to use their knowledge. Their aim is just to pass the exam. They should be taught to apply their knowledge. We as trainees were taught about handling food poisoning in children before a doctor's help. Before a doctor's help could be reached. Burn a piece of bread, dosa, or any food available and give the blackened portion to the patient. This is an antidote for food poisoning. What is the use of this knowledge if I am going to search for my book to find out? I have been taught, and I should use that knowledge immediately before the condition worsens. Application of knowledge is the need of the hour. Children should be guided to listen in class, not just hear. Grasp what is being explained, allow it to go to the brain, and apply it or use it when needed. That is learning. That is education. When I mentioned this to a parent, that marks are not the be-all or end-all of life, she answered, "Madam, without good marks, my child will not get admission in a good college." I agree. That is the worry of many parents, especially those who are targeting professional colleges. I am not suggesting that students should not put in hard work. My desire is that students should be able to apply the knowledge they have gained. Many students go for coaching to get into the IITs, to pass the entrance exam and get admitted to these institutions. Several of them drop out Because learning for an exam and passing the entrance test of the IITs is one thing, but studying there after that is another. They only know to answer the entrance exam questions because they are coached extensively for that. There is no depth. It is just superficial knowledge. What is the use of this learning? How can they survive if they are unable to apply the knowledge spoon-fed to them at these coaching centers? The high expectations of the parents, the inability to cope with the high standards of the IITs, the feelings of helplessness, shame, disillusionment, and guilt affects the students mentally, and this trauma makes them go into depression. Some of them take the extreme step of suicide. Is this what we want? For me, my children are more important to me than their qualifications. When I say my children, I refer not only to my biological children, but every child in my school. Dear parents, God has wisely and generously provided for all His creations. There is abundance in this world. There is enough for everyone. Animals and birds know it, but we humans do not. It is a rat race, I agree. The student or person who wins the race is still only a rat. If your child has a passion to be a doctor or engineer, he will become one because he has the talent and passion to be the best in his chosen field. He will go the extra mile. He will succeed because he wants to and not because he is forced to. Putting undue pressure on your children can break them. Knowledge is not power. I repeat, knowledge is not power. Knowledge applied is power. Please use this information, apply it so that your children are happy and safe. Your anxiety to give them a good future is depriving them from having a happy today. Let them live their childhood and youth. Our anxiety does not come from thinking about the future, but from wanting to control it. To quote Khalil Gibran, the Lebanese poet, your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. Though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit even in your dreams. Dear parents, God has provided for each one of us. Let us trust Him and our children. Save them before it is too late. Please pay heed to avoid disasters. Your child's life is more precious and valuable than all the riches of the future. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Lead me from darkness to light. Yes, lead us from this ignorance about studies and knowledge to a bright and happy future for our children. Gandhiji put it aptly, be the change that you wish to see in the world. Act now. Thank you.